What up, people? This is the top 5 plugins every producer needs. Let's get right in it.
Alright, so the top 5 plugins every producer needs are going to be Metric AB, Cymatic's Diablo plugin, RC20 go-to, and Ozone Imager 2, and then Omnisphere by Spectrasonic. I'll dive into each one of those right now, but yeah, those are my go-to, and I feel like those are 5 plugins that every producer needs. Dive right in it. So we're going to start with Metric AB. So first of all, when you have a reference track, referencing tracks is a great way to level your tracks to like a really professional standard. Super easy. What you want to do with reference tracks is just like mimicking. What I do is try and match the peaks, mimic the peaks of the reference track that you're trying to reference to the best of your ability to your track. So let's say like you reference this one track's hi-hats, and like the peak of the hi-hats, you would try and match your peaks to that peak. Makes it super easy. So right here, what you would do is I already have some loaded up, like already in plugin, but these things were blank, and you have a reference track. What you would do is you go like here, boom, load file, and then wherever you have it, you know, like maybe downloads, whatever the hell, but yeah, you would just click it in, it'll be right here. So this one is my reference track. And it has kind of like the same sound that I'm going for, because this is my track that I'm singing to, if I said that right. See how the sounds are kind of similar? That's a huge key. When referencing, you obviously want like to reference a beat or a song with the same sound as yours. So what I do is I turn this thing till it's orange, because in Metric AB, when this thing is orange, it means that you have your reference track turned on, not your track. And so I have a reference track turned on, and I play it. And then right when I play it, I just click this match button. And what it does, see this minus 1.4, and I switch back to my track. So this minus 1.4 means that it moved our reference track down minus 1.4 dBs to match the overall level of our track. Yeah, that's why I think it's a go-to. This is like so crucial to make my beats sound the way they sound, and my loops sound the way they sound. Like this, most vital VST out of this whole list by far. So that's why I started off with this. And our second plugin is our Cymatic's Diablo plugin. So here I'll bring my effect rack just to show you guys where it's at. Let's just take it off. I'll show you guys what my kick sounds like without the Diablo plugin. Let's see it with the Diablo plugin. It just adds like punch. I don't know, I think like relatively what it does is maybe like increase the volume a bit, but then definitely just the velocity, shoot it through the roof. It's very helpful if you do have your instruments, like if you already shoot up the instrument's velocity a lot, then it super helps, because like you obviously wouldn't be able to increase it more than how your DAW allows you to. But yeah, definitely, probably definitely does a lot more, but just listen to it, taking the face value, it sounds like that's really what it does. But either way, it makes it a lot more punchy. It makes it sound a lot more hard hitting. So I definitely recommend it. I use it on actually all my instruments. I use the kick preset, and then I use the get in the kick preset. But yeah, I think this is a definite need. So our third plugin that we're gonna use is a plugin called RC20. This is an amazing plugin. I actually only got a reference to it, I believe, like in the past couple months. And I actually just got it within the past month, but I mainly use it for like, you know, in my pads. And yeah, that's really it. But it does make a lot of difference. I actually haven't tested out with presets that comes in the RC20 bank. I use this Vinyl 1 preset. When I slap it on my pianos, for example, I always turn this noise down, because this noise is just like here right now. When you turn it on, it just sounds a little too noisy when I turn on the Vinyl 1 preset. You know. So I always turn that down just a tad. Yeah, basically what it does, you probably won't be able to hear the difference right now, but what it does, just add a slight bit of saturation to sound a little more lively. You'll hear it. It kind of sounds like a little flanger built into it, if you know about like fruity flanger. But yeah, it sounds like a little fruity chorus, fruity flanger, and a little bit of saturation, but in a very subtle way in terms of this Vinyl 1 preset. And that's really all I do. I'll just open this RC20 and just slap it on my piano progression. That's how it sounds without. This is with it. So I don't know if you folks could tell. I apologize. I know you're listening on my speaker, but it did sound a little bit more like a flanger was slapped on there. But yeah, it just makes it sound a little more lively, a little more beautiful in my opinion. So, and then my fourth plugin that I gotta recommend to you folks is this Ozone Imager 2. I actually haven't even checked if they have like an Imager 3 at all. I've had this plugin for the longest because it has not stood me wrong. What I use it on mostly is when I work with loops, I already have something in my effect rack. So I just have like a channel rack, a sample rack. And so I just drag a loop and I put it in this sample rack. And this is one of the, I believe it's the second thing on my rack, right behind the EQ. But yeah, this just creates a little bit more stereo separation, makes the sample a little bit more wide, you know, just so like the listener has a little bit more immersive experience when listening to my beat. So just putting it on a loop just makes the loop a little more immersive, a little more wide, a little more enjoyable. And to have a loop that's like slightly more separated, it makes it a lot more enjoyable of an experience. So I have this set right here, my Ozone Imager 2. I have this knob, I believe it's like right 5%. Yeah, I believe it's like 50, 52%, 51%. I just like to have that around 50%, this width knob. I don't even touch this stereo size knob. But then I have this on my sample channel rack. And so yeah, I just plug it in just to create a little bit more stereo separation. And yeah, just make the loop sound that much better. Super, super clutch, because without that, my loops, in my opinion, wouldn't sound as full and wouldn't sound as lively. Definitely not as beautiful as like how they sound in all my beats. But yeah, either way, super amazing plugin to add a little bit more stereo width and make your either loops or whole beats sound that much more full. Definitely clutch. And the last plugin that I gotta recommend to you guys, man, this is clutch. This is Omnisphere, man. This is super clutch. Probably find every single sound of this thing. I had to recommend it because any piano, any bass, any synth bass, you can find strings, you can find vocals, you can find literally any sound in Omnisphere. It's a huge plugin for sure. Definitely gonna eat some CPU. So if you got about like 4 or 5 going on, probably don't want to have multiple projects of multiple Omnispheres going on. It's probably gonna end up crashing for sure. But like, you know, Omnisphere is just amazing. You can literally, like I said, find any guitars for sure. Yeah, it's guitars, but yeah, man, it's just beautiful. Organs too, man. Organs is actually clutch. There's not a lot of VSTs that I found have good quality organs, but yeah, it's just something that kind of need, man. Any sound, if you don't want to get like a separate VST for, you could probably find it in Omnisphere. Like I'm sure, I think we can also find some bells too. Yeah, like we can find some cool sounds like glockenspiels right here. But yeah, it's very cool, dude. Like every single sound you can think of under the sun, man, is gonna be in this joint. But yeah, that's why I recommend it. So it's definitely a go-to. I feel like every damn producer has heard of this or even has it. But if you don't have it, definitely recommend you use it. I use it in actually on my loops. Usually on my loops, because what I do is I use it for a pad. I use it for my pads, and I think Omnisphere has amazing pads. But yeah, this is a preset pad that I'm using. But yeah, definitely Omnisphere is my go-to for pads. I think it could be a go-to for any instrument you want. If you just have enough money to buy like one super VST, it's definitely one. Bam.
So there you have it, folks. Recap. First one that we went over, Metric AB. Second plugin that I talked about was Cymatics Diablo. Third plugin that we covered was the RC20 plugin. The fourth plugin that we covered was the Ozone Imager 2. And the fifth plugin that we covered was Omnisphere. Crazy VST, like every single sound under the sun, you'll find that joint. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I will be dropping videos that like this a lot. So appreciate y'all for rocking with me in the video again. I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.